What's up guys, it's me, girl cat Corelli, and this is episode 318 of my Cat Vibe series. Today I'm painting the portrait of Eva. But before we move any further, if you're a subscriber, I want to urge you to hit that bell notification so that you get notified whenever I publish a new video or a post. I post videos every 3 days, and and in between, I make posts of my paintings, which are now available on Etsy in my store. If you're a newcomer and you like my content, please subscribe and hit that bell notification. This will help out my channel quite a bit. So, with that out of the way, initially I was going to just paint the portrait of Eva. And I didn't really have much in mind. I just wanted to capture whatever I saw in her eyes. And I wanted to keep it relatively straightforward. But as I progressed through the painting, I started to latch on little subtleties, in the eyes. Sad eyes, I think. And I wanted to capture that, and I wanted to exaggerate it a little bit, and I wanted to show a little more. I think there is a great deal of sadness in these eyes, and the mouth. She's not smiling, and she looks tired. That's how I feel about it. And as I kept on painting, I started to get that feeling more and more. So I kind of leaned into that feeling, and then I thought, well, I probably also should add a wolf, because apparently Eva likes wolves. Well, I put it in the initial sketch, but other than Eva and the wolf, again, I had no idea what am I going to paint. What's the background going to be like? Because initially I was going for something that would be kind of neutral. I thought that, I would just put a neutral background there and I'll be good. But then, as I kept on painting, I thought, no, it's not... It needs something else. It needs an ambience. It needs space. And it can't be just, just something abstract. It has to be something. So I started with something fairly abstract, but then as I just went on, I kind of felt that it's going to be something like the woods. And frankly, don't ask me what is that on the right side, but I felt that the right side of the painting should be leaning into red, and the left side of the painting should be cooler. It should be leaning into blue, into the blues. And then I just kept on painting. As I was covering all that space, I started to think about trees, and so I started to paint in trees, and it looks like there is a wildfire to the right. I think that's how I feel. It's like when you had to go through some really, really tough and rough times in the past. I think it's like that blazing wildfire somewhere in the back of a person's life. And we can't just leave it burning there. It's kind of like, I don't know, something tells me this is perhaps a pretty good metaphor, the way I see it. Me, myself, haven't been through a great deal of stuff. I feel that if you do not realize that there is that wildfire still burning behind your back, still burning in your past, it's going to catch up with you and it's going to burn you alive. And there's nothing you can do about it if you just don't do anything about that fire. So I think that this is why at some point we have to realize where the smoke is coming from. We have to realize and acknowledge the pain and the suffering and the darkness that happened to us in the past. And we have to kind of turn back and go back into that wildfire, and we have to quench it, and we have to plant new trees there and save that forest. because we are part of that forest, now in the present. I think that's the kind of metaphor that I went for here, and I didn't think it out really, I just went with the feeling. I felt that on the right side it should be burning red in the distance, and on the left side it's kind of cool, and it's kind of dark, and there's this wolf. And the wolf knows the woods, that's the metaphor. Of course a wolf knows the woods. So a wolf is like a metaphor for a guiding spirit that will guide you through the darkness, that will guide you back to where the woods are burning, and where you actually should go to stop that burning, to quench that fire, to tame it, to contain it, and to heal. The wolf would know these woods, because the wolf comes from these woods. And so ever since I painted that background in, all of a sudden, the whole painting started to feel like it's a lot more coherent. It has it has a meaning now, a much deeper meaning than just a portrait, than just the eyes, than just a face. And even with the wolf, now it had those three components, which rhyme together, which make perfect sense. And in that regard, I think that I've made the right decisions here. It's a symbolic painting in the first place. It's symbolic and it's spiritual. And I think that probably some people will see whatever they want to see in this painting, and that's okay. In the end of the day, people have their own perception, and it doesn't matter what meaning the artist puts into their work. Everybody's going to end up seeing something of their own, and that's a beautiful thing, actually. It's a good thing. But I'm just telling you what I felt went into this painting, and what meaning does it have to me. And in that regard, I think I'm very satisfied with this painting. There's a lot of technicalities that I think I could have done better, and a lot of technical decisions that I should have done different, and all of that. It's always like this. Virtually in every painting that I make, and probably every artist goes through that. You go for something and you think, okay, I'll do it this way, and then you realize that maybe I could have used a different approach. But then it's kind of too late, because this is a real painting. This is not a digital artwork. This is a real life artwork. It's analog, which means that there is no undo button. And even though it's oil paint, and theoretically I could I could wait for areas of the painting to dry out and then paint over it, but I just don't want to do that. I'd rather paint a new work. Because every painting has its own energy. And in that regard, I want to say something. I think that I heard someone say this, that one has to go out there and do bad art as well, and not be afraid of letting out something that is imperfect. And I think there is a great deal of wisdom in that, because in order to venture into new territory, you have to be prepared to be imperfect. And maybe in retrospect, I will look back at this painting and I will think, well, this and that and blah, 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 and I'll be very critical of my work. But it had to be finished anyways, the way it is, in the year 2024. So here's the finished painting. And thank you very much for watching. Here we go. Until next time, ciao.